All right, so I'm going to be going through worked example 5 on page 216. Now, what this question is asking is they're giving you two sets of coordinates and you have to find the angular distance between them. All right, so two things you have to consider. When we're working out the angular distance, we are focusing strictly on the latitude. Okay, latitude is north and south, so we don't even actually look at the west and east. Okay, once we've looked at that, the second thing we have to look at is if they're on the same side of the equator or on different sides of the equator. If they are on different sides, okay, we are going to add the two numbers. If they are on the same side, we subtract. Now, because one's south and one's north, that means they're on opposite sides of the equator, so we are going to add these two. And it is 35 degrees. That's it. Okay, that's all we have to do for that question because it's not asking us to do anything else. Now, I'm going to do worked example 6. Okay, there's a little extra bit added to this one. All right, now they've given us two sets of coordinates. Whoop. Okay, the only difference with this one is they're asking us to calculate the distance to the nearest kilometre. All right, if they ask us to calculate the distance to the nearest kilometre, we just have to incorporate a formula afterwards. All right, so the first thing we look at the latitude. Okay, we have a look if it's on the same side or on opposite sides of the equator. In this case here, it's on the same side. So because it's on the same side, we are going to subtract, which gives us 12 degrees. All right, we want it to the nearest kilometre, so if they want it in kilometres, we have to use this formula. All right, so that is 111.2 times the angular distance. Now, the angular distance is what we've just found, which is the 12 degrees. So we're just timesing it by 12. And our answer is 1,334 kilometres. All right, I think the next one that you gave me, okay, another one that you really have to pay attention to is worked example 7. All right, now this one's a little bit different, and I'll explain why in a sec. All right, now we're going to do the same thing again, but the only difference is if you're looking at your two coordinates here, okay, if they are both exactly the same, so when I say that, I mean if they both have the exact same number and they're both on the same side of the equator, okay, that means it's a small circle. So in these previous examples, these two examples that I just went through, they're examples of great circles. This is an example of a small circle, all right, because they're both on the same parallel of latitude, all right? So because it's a small circle, we're now going to look at our longitude, all right, which is 170 degrees west and 26 degrees east. Now, the same rule still applies. If they are on the same side of the equator, we take away, and if they're on opposite sides, we add. So because they're on opposite sides, we're going to add, which is 196 degrees. Now, with a small circle, we always want the shortest angular distance. All right, now to find the shortest angular distance, okay, this is something you have to take into consideration. If this number here is above 180, you have to subtract 196 from 360 because we want the shorter distance. If it's below 180, we leave it. So because it's above 180, I'm going to do 360 degrees, take away 196. And that's going to give me 164 degrees. So that's going to be our shortest distance. Once we've got that, Then they want it in kilometres, to the nearest kilometre. So we're going to use our angular distance formula, but because it's a small circle, the formula is a little bit different. So this is the formula we use for a small circle. Okay, the only difference between this formula is we've got cos. All right, so it's going to be 111.2 times cos. Now theta is going to be whatever the number was that lies in the same parallel latitude. So that's 40 degrees. So it's going to be cos times 40 degrees, okay, times the angular distance, which is 164. All right, so our answer is 13,970 kilometres. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you have any questions, just let me know.